So we're about to begin the model blouse. This is model blouse completed. Um, I'm sorry about the poor camera angle here. I should have looked at what I was filming. But that was the front. Here's the back. The back consists of a upper yoke panel, and then we have a center panel which is gathered into the lower panel, and the lower panel has two darts in it. We have two short sleeves on here, and it also has a collar, and the front consists of two closed-ended darts and two open-ended darts. This is the blouse inside out. This is the attached facing. Okay, here's the armhole, which is finished with a bias binding. There's the side seam, which is finished with a French seam. There's the yoke facing, the under collar, or the upper collar rather, and then the seam at center back that goes around the waist is also finished with a bias facing, or a bias binding. So that is the yoke completely done inside and out. So a couple things you need to do. Find your center back panel, the one that gets gathered and the yoke goes on the top of it. In the upper right hand corner, okay, right here, we want to measure 1 inch down from the cut edge, as you see me doing, and mark a notch. Okay, this is going to match up with the ease notch on your sleeve. Do the same thing on both sides. From that upper edge where the yoke attaches, mark down 1 inch from that cut edge and mark a notch. Okay, so make sure you notch that when you cut these out, because that will be where your yoke attaches. Alright, on the sleeve we also need to add ease notches. Alright, so I want you to measure down on the front. Remember that the front side has directional notches. There's only one notch on the front side. I want you to walk down your ruler. I want you to walk it down 3 3/4 of an inch, as you can see me doing from the cut edge. Okay, so I started at that upper notch, and I'm walking it down 3 3/4, and I'm marking it. Okay, and we're going to have a notch right there. This is our ease notch, just easing it into the armhole. And then make sure you notch that on your fabric. And then on the back side, where the two notches are, you're going to walk down your ruler 3 15/16 of an inch. Okay, so start at that upper notch, the shoulder notch, and walk down your ruler 3 15/16 of an inch and mark it. All right, that is going to be your back ease notch. So before we start taking our patterns off our fabric, or if you haven't cut out yet, make sure you mark all these things. It's very important. All right, and one more thing we're going to do is make bias. Okay, we've all made bias strips. So what I want you to do is make a 2 inch wide bias strip and then press it in half like you see me doing here. Okay, the long ways. All right, we're going to use this for when we do our bias binding of the waist seam at center back and also our armholes. So you want 3 of these total. So again, this is a bias binding. So cut your 2 inch wide bias strips and press them in half. Okay, so now once you've marked those notches on your patterns and made your bias strips, we're ready to start the model blouse.